Hey, what's up, everyone? All right, so a couple of things, I guess. So Eternal Weekend was this weekend, and I was playing on some Discord calls with some friends, and honestly, it made me feel a lot better about Magic. Uh, just like playing Magic, I just enjoyed myself a lot more. So I'm gonna try to do that more often. And so I've just been kind of on a tear since I took a break, and now I played so much this weekend. Uh, so really, from the 15th. Actually, here I can. 1 second, everyone. I'm gonna pull up something on. 1 second. Halo and L. Hi, Stormpeep. Um, so I punched in the stuff from this weekend into my spreadsheet here, and I separated it out. So there's big gaps now in this data set. I have September, but I don't even know when this was. Black Red Goblins 28, and I'm on 35 now, and so I have no idea. This is months and months and months ago. So this is the Sunday showcase that I played in last. I don't even know when that was. Yeah, so the gathering is better than the Magic, right? This is September 20th, but then this is October Eternal Weekend. All of this is within that period. So that's match 769 to match 802. So this is basically counting from the last stream where I 5-0'd onwards. And there's some matches I want to review because a lot of them are really cool. And I'm 1-0 in a league right now. And I'll play a couple. I want to talk about the changes I made to the list. And so it developed over time. I also actually updated CPL for once. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. So I'd say there are 3 significant changes. Number 1, Jump Home Incinerator got cut for Tarfire. So I normally fucking hate Tarfire. But there's a couple of reasons why I think it's good again. First and foremost, I want a goblin-shaped answer to Plague Engineer that's efficient. So that means not Crater Maker, and I want something that's instant speed, because the problem with using Crater Maker as your engineer answer against control is that you don't have the luxury of holding on to your creatures in hand that often. Like, you often just need to play whatever 2-drop you can play to get the pressure going. And so you inevitably lose your Crater Maker to removal spell or a Wrath, and then they plague you. And Crater Maker has this really awkward thing where you want to hold up 1 mana all the time. And it's very inefficient. And if your opponent plagues you, you Matron for 3 mana, get your Crater Maker the Engineer. You've spent 6 mana, so probably 2 turns to kill their 3 mana thing. And you haven't pressured them at all in this time because it's impossible to attack through the 2/2 Death Touch. So Tarfire is the far more efficient way to do it, and also has some upside with Skirk Prospector in that if you were Prospector, Tarfire in hand, and your opponent just plays Engineer, you just sack your 1/1s that are going to die anyway, and then Tarfire them when it resolves. And so you've kept the pressure going. When I was looking at my kind of matchup spread, I was finding there were more and more matchups where I wanted that the cheapness of Tarfire mattered more and more, and the consistency of it. Jump Home, I would be boarding out a lot. But it came from I wanted a Tarfire against Snow, and so this build feels way better against Snow. I've won a lot of my last couple Snow matches. But that wasn't the first thing I did. The first thing. So first I was going to 2 War Chiefs, 3 War Marshals, 2 Pile Drivers instead of 3-3-2. With Chain Whirler side, but yeah, put Chain Whirler back in the main deck. And so this is actually in reverse order. These matches started first. So Espervile was first. I was like, oh yeah, Chain Whirler's good. So Espervile, Rug Delver, Bug. So this is the last stream. This was the last stream right here. And since then I faced Eldrazi, 2-0, Mono U Echo, 0-2, Tombsday, 1-2. I didn't use my I obviously played too conservative. And I think that's a common thread in a lot of my losses, is that I've been playing too conservatively. Food Chain 2-1, Eldrazi 2-1, D&T 1-2. I just didn't make any sense. I like Muxist, and then I just I ended up sacrificing like a ton of my board for literally no reason to try to go nuts with Pashlik, and then lost to a Plow. I was silly. I was very silly. Omni Sneak 2-1, Reanimator 0-2. Kind of a crazy Turbo Affinity list. They had like Gaia's Cradles, all Soul Lands. I lost to turn 1 Ravager, Ornithopter, turn 2 GT attack. Attack with GT. And I was 1 turn short of Trash Mastering them. Dredge 2-1, Snow 1-2, Goblins. I lost to die roll and got lackied. Eldrazi 2-1, Espervile 2-0, Blue Red Delver 2-0, Turbo Depths 1-2, Oopsal Spells 0-2, Reanimator 2-1, Test 2-0. And then so this is when I shifted to the Tarfires. Because if you look at the matchup here, Tarfire is probably worse than Jump Home against Espervile specifically, but not by much, and sometimes it'll be better. Rug Delver, Jump Home's definitely better. Hogak, Tarfire's better because it's 1 mana. Say even on Espervile, worse against Rug. Worse against Stompy, probably better against this deck. Neither are good here. Food Chain, Tarfire's probably better. D&T, I think the Tarfire is better because you need answers to turn 1 Mom or turn 2 Stoneforge on the draw. Omni, it's whatever. Reanimators, whatever. Affinity, Tarfire was better because how fast they were. Dredge, Tarfire is better. Snow, Tarfire is better. Goblins, Jump Home's obviously better. I feel like there's some matches I missed here because there's a bunch of Strifopile matchups that must have been before this. I played against Strifopile a bunch of times, and Tarfire would have been better. Why I took a break? Because Magic just felt awful, just really not fun. But I'm having a better time now. But since I've switched to Tarfire, it was good against Chris's Control, D&T, Snow, Gak. Nothing on it. Doesn't really matter in the other ones. So I could see an argument that Crater Maker, that I want 1 Jump on the Listo and I could cut a Crater Maker for it. Especially since I'm moving. So again, looking at this matchup spread, Trashmaster was looking better than the 3rd Ringleader as I looked at this this match set, right? So Trashmaster better, Ringleader better, Trashmaster better, Ringleader better, Ringleader better, Trashmaster's better, Trashmaster's better, Ringleader's better, Trashmaster's better, Trashmaster, Ringleader. I actually like went and counted this out, and it was very solidly in Trashmaster's favor of game 1, what I want. So I did the swap and put the Trashmaster in the main deck and put the 3rd Ringleader in the sideboard. What else changed? Oh yeah, so I started playing Eric Squad for Snow. So now my and I was talking about that last time as well, but now my Snow sideboarding is like really nice, right? I have 7 cards to board in, and 2 of them are Goblins, and so I board out this, and then there's some flex slots that depends on their exact build. So the ley lines, I started to see that the meta game was just increasingly, the graveyard decks were not hedging against leyline as hard as they usually do, because I think there are just so few leyline decks in the meta. Hogak plays leyline. But there isn't that much else, right? Eldrazi. But I think Chalice shells are pretty bad right now, which generally matches with Leyline being popular. So, and I've been rewarded for it big time. You know, I've played against, since I switched to the Leylines, which was like around here, I played against Reanimator 4 times, and I've beaten it 3 out of 4. There's a fair bit of Hogak. A couple other Leyline matchups. Or matchups where I wished I had the Leyline. Oops, all spells. All right, so I want to pull up some matches here. What's my win rate on the play versus on the draw? I calculated that once, and it was like over a year ago. But my overall, well, I mean, this data set has gaps in it now, so it's not fully accurate. This is almost 65%, and then I lose more die rolls than I win. The last time I calculated it, there's a 10% difference being on the play versus being on the draw. I think it was 11%. So pretty substantial. Okay, so what matches do I want to go over? Okay, so this was the last stream. And then I think this is my Death and Taxes loss that I went nuts for no reason. I think it was in game 1, so it's on the play. It had the plow, draw vial. Could cut Crater Maker for Gem Palm. I think that's reasonable. Kill the mom. Even though I would have loved to play Matron there. Thalia. Matron for Prospector and Wasteland them, because I'm trying to get this Muxus into play. Drew the War Marshal so I can just wait and not expose the Prospector to the plow. The Apparition my Vial, which sucks. Support me. I draw land. Back max ones. Yeah. So I hit Crater Maker, War Chief, Matron. And here's where I just go bananas for no reason. So I get Pashlik Mons. I end up sacking Matron, Pile Driver, and then also sacking War Chief in order to activate the Crater Maker after attacking to like kill both things and get in a bunch of damage. But the thing is that doesn't actually kill them. and it leaves me with almost no board state. I like sacrifice everything to do this. Like I should have just gotten another matron and then attacked with the Muxus. And then what happens here is they just plow the Muxus, and I went from having a massive board state and impossible to lose to having almost nothing. And then they draw Stoneforge Mystic. And we just trade off. Try to port him off white for a little while. I flood out. And they draw another Stoneforge. I forgot about the factory, so I was forced to port the factory, and then they got to cast another Stoneforge. And I just draw garbage. And they had Batterskull in hand. And drew a Recruiter as well. Draw Ringleader, but between the Wisps and everything, I just can never recover. So I just killed myself, sacking my whole board state. My opponent actually almost punts this away, but I just never draw a Crater Maker. But I've already seen two. Or just one. Just one. So yeah, that was just a huge giant mistake. So don't try to go nuts with Muxus when you can just win a longer game. Like I felt like I had to kill them there. And instead I could have just traded. I would have just eaten. The Muxus would have eaten Thalia. And then they plow it. And then I just do for one of them. When do we want Trash Master in general? I mean, it's pretty good against Death and Taxes. Like really, really good against Death and Taxes. What are the other important matches I wanted to go over? So that's here. Omni Sneak, Reanimator, Dredge. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, there's actually a lot more matches that I forgot to record. Okay. Miracles, Snow, Rug Delver. Oh, this game was nuts. Aerotart. So I saw this as I would like to respond. So this guy almost always, this is Marcus Highwald, and he almost always plays High Tide. I'm like, okay, I'm playing against High Tide. This hand doesn't beat High Tide. This hand doesn't beat High Tide. That hand doesn't beat High Tide. So I end up mulling to 3. And he goes Underground Sea Pass. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm dead. So I'm thinking he's Doomsday, so I'm just porting him a whole lot. And he plays a Pernicious Deed. Decays my Vial so he doesn't have to use his Deed. Plays an Uro. Cycle Shark Typhoon. Ringleader, that was a really good Ringleader, so I'm kind of pulled out of my mulligan, but I don't want to commit too much to the board because of the Deed. But if he deeds, he loses his Shark, and that's the main like tension of this whole game. He hard casts Shark Typhoon, which is hilarious. I didn't put in the Pile Driver there because I don't want him to Deed for 2 there. Draw another Ringleader. So here I matron for Muxus because he can't deed for 6, and he can't deed for 3, which would be relevant if I hit a War Chief. I do not. I do hit a Ringleader and another matron, and I draw 4 off of the Ringleader, including the Tarfire that is looking a lot worse than Jump Pump Incinerator for what it's worth. So I grab a matron, or I grab a War Marshal off the matron. Sack. Pashlik. Rainstorms. Force of Willed. Makes sense. He gets a 5/5. Game's so nuts. Plays an Oko, gets a 3/3. The Hardcast Shark Typhoon is certainly doing a whole lot, so he elks the Vial, which makes sense. So he's 1 card, I have 7. He's 5 mana open, so he can't deed for 6. So he would not lose the Shark Typhoon, but he also wouldn't kill the Oko. I mean the Muxus. Draw another land, which is good. So there's like too many decisions here. This game's like almost impossible to play perfectly. So I kind of don't even try. I just try to make game actions to progress my chances of winning. No, don't might get stuck here. No, all right. I think it just Ringleader again. Yeah. Expert Creator Maker. I was looking for an expert. Access in the Vial attack. And a Creator Maker, the Shark that blocked. Keep in mind, I mulliganed to 3 this game. Tarfire the Uro. I don't think it's going to get any usage, so... I mean the Oko. Tarfire the Oko. So he doesn't have a land. Elks my Muxus. Backs me for 5. Another land. It's 4 mana open. So he doesn't want to deed for 4, I'm sure. So I port down his green source so he can't replicate me, so he replicates my Skirk. I do have a second one, though. Play my Pile Driver, gets Force of Willed. And now I'm like in danger of dying. If I kill a 5/5 Shark, he's not really allowed to pop Deed there, because then he just loses his Sharks anyway. Cling to Dust to make a 1/1. Block with my Elk. Trust Sling Gang, which is kind of I needed that to not be my draw step, because I needed to hit that off the Muxus. Huh. Yeah, I can't beat drawing the lock on the War Chief there. Because then he just has a 5/5. He can just kill me in the air. But yeah, the game is nuts. If I had the Sling Gang 1 card deeper in my deck, I think I can win. Or at least force him to pop the Deed. I don't know how... I mean, if he pops the Deed for 6, I sack my whole board, drain him for a ton, everything dies, including the food and the Shark Typhoon, all the sharks, his Uro. So you can get the Uro back. I don't know if I have enough gas left in the deck to actually kill him, though. So maybe that's a losing battle no matter what. Game 2, I just lackey him. And game 3, my Muxuses just like refuse to give me cards, I think is what happens. I keep this because, I mean, he is playing a standstill deck. Vial's really good. Reb's really good. He thought seizes my Vial, which is really mean. So now my hand kind of sucks. But Port's a good draw. Crater Maker's all right. Yeah, I get Plague Engineered. Big surprise. Draw another land. This is pretty bad. Trade. Plays Jace. Forces my blast. Play Pashalik. Probably should have. I mean, he's probably not going to face on me. That's why I didn't port, by the way. I have the fetch in case of face. I top deck Muxus, which is like obviously the nuts, and so I have a pretty high chance of killing him here. And I just hit a pile driver. It's literally 5 lands in a pile driver after having 7 lands and fetching 2 away. Like that's stupendously unlikely. So if I hit a War Chief there, if I hit the War Chief with the pile driver there, I can swing. It's 1, 2, 3, 7, 2, 4, 6, 14. Yeah, just a War Chief gives me lethal there. It's 7/7. He chumps the Muxus with the Uro. 7. Oh, I mean, it would put him down to what? 5. If I hit him for 11. And then I have 4 creatures on board. Bounce plus Thoughtseize the Muxus. Drown the Pashalik. Get a free block and they play Standstill. I draw a Ringleader, which is exactly what I needed. Crack Standstill, get a Lackey, and an Airwick Squad. I forgot that killing the Jace does not allow me to Prowl Squad, which is actually a huge bummer. He deluges. I draw a Matron. Matron for Muxus. Block. Hardcast Shark. Possible try Chieftain. Chieftain really, really sucks. Tried Chieftain somewhere recently. Card is really bad. Auto. Yes. Oh yeah. I port his Trop because of Abrupt Decay. And I only hit Slingang Crater Maker. So I had 2 Muxuses that only hit 2 Goblins while I had most of my lands on the battlefield. But I just hit all other lands. So feels pretty unfortunate to lose from that. But that's what happens. And he has a Deed. Draw Reb. I try to blast a Shark to push damage. And then he just has a Hardcast Force, make a 5/5. So pretty nutty match. Let's go through a couple of these. Not sure which match this was. I take the high upside play of just Wastelanding there. Because if they don't have a blue source. Yes, this is 4-color snow, but their mana is awful. And I'm trying to force them to spend another plow on a Mogwai Marshal token, which is why I didn't play more stuff. And they just force of will. But they're still not drawing the land. And the second port is just insane. And now since I don't know, maybe I was still supposed to port Forest there, but it felt like a drawn plow was the only way they're going to get bailed out of taking a whole bunch of pile driver damage. So it was game 1 against Snow. Very reasonable hand. Engineer answer, Vial, multiple mana denial pieces, and a Cavern, and pile drivers, which is the best beater. Gets Abrupt Decay, big surprise. I play out my pile driver there. I don't think just like porting them forever is going to be my plan this game. I should have wastelanded them after attacking. I missed 1 damage there. Play an Oko. I think I just kind of flood out this game. Jace, bounce my Crater Maker, draw another land. Just infinite lands. Oh yeah, and then I get back to basics. So I'm just like trying to wait to draw Pyroblast before they draw an Astrolabe, and they draw an Astrolabe. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells on 8 turns is not a winning recipe. I don't remember if I keep this or not. It's an interesting question, right? Because it has Red for back to basics, has an answered engineer, or a couple of War Marshals isn't bad. But I do just, yeah, I end up throwing it back just because it's just a little, there's just a lot of high upside hands where when you're on the play, Cavern Lackey almost always wins against Snow. How many times do I flood? I mean, Goblins is usually pretty good at getting out of flood because you've Matrons and Ringleaders and Muxuses, but it just wasn't happening that game. So Swamp Go is like sketchy as fuck. So this feels like Abrupt Decay mana right there, right? And that's why I instead of trying to port them, I just go for Mage for Ringleader because I'm like very sure that if I port them, they're just gonna Abrupt Decay my Vial. So exactly what happens. But given that I drew War Marshal as a 2-drop, I'm pretty happy to just port them. Yeah, Mana Screw is a much bigger issue than Flood with Goblins. So Uro, but I got this Karakas into Relic, so I'm not scared. And the Pyroblast is really, really nice because now I don't have to care about I'm not scared of back to basics. So I can jam my Ringleader here because it's pretty unlikely they can get 3 cards in their graveyard and still escape Uro. So I'm pretty safe tapping out there and getting a big tempo swing. So they Abrupt Decay the Relic, which I'm totally fine with. Draw Muxus, which is interesting. Keep the Crater Maker back because of Engineer. Play War Marshal and keep porting black. Other Uro, so that explains their K-Relic choice to some extent. Keep playing around Icefang Quaddle. I don't know. Okay, the Vial. Sure. But now they're just taking 5 a turn, right? And I could go for lethal there, but it's bad against removal spells, so I just chill. And they did have a Quaddle, actually. So Dead of Winter, Crater Maker the Ice Fang, so they can't like the mana fixing doesn't matter as much as the Death Touch blocker when I have the War Chief in my hand. And I blast the Oko, so now I have clear board. Red mana is a little bit dicey here. I didn't port because I wanted to be able to bounce Uro end step. So if they escape Uro, I can just bounce it and that's fine. Because I want all 6 of my mana to be able to cast Muxus if the War Chief dies, or if they elfed the War Chief. Slam Muxus, hit triple Lackey, which is plenty good because that's just 5 damage coming through, and then I drop the Sling. I think I style on them a little bit. Yeah, I go for the second Muxus and just kill the Roko and then kill them. What do you think about shaving 1 Mog War Marshal for the Gem Palm? I know it's a non-bow, but I like having 3 Crater Makers. I don't want to cut a War Marshal. War Marshal's been really, really solid for me. Just makes all your other effects better, right? Gem Palm's just not that exciting of a card these days. It's fighting a fight that isn't what that Magic isn't about anymore. Like, kind of how K-Command isn't a card right now. Gem Palm is weaker for the same reasons. Does that make sense? Like, it's a 2-for-1, but it doesn't kill the important things, and therefore matters less. Like, Gem Palming Ice Fang Coatl or Baleful Strix or whatever is good in that you maintain parity while interacting with them, but I don't want to maintain parity. I want to push an advantage. Yeah, it's good. It's really good against Delver still, for sure. But if you want to improve your Delver matchup, you should just play more Monk War Marshals. So cutting your best card for a slightly worse card versus Delver doesn't make sense to me. We haven't gotten any notifications yet. I'm just worried that the widget's not working again. You guys hear that? Oh, no. Okay. That should be it. I'm not going to worry about it until it comes up. Yeah, like, a Jump Palm is one of my absolute favorite cards in the deck. So I am also loath to cut it. But have I considered adding blue for Deck Fade and literally no other blue cards? You know what, Chase? Don't think I had. Don't think I had considered Deck Fade. So, oh, they were playing against your deck, Strafo. Gotta say, playing against your deck when it's not you is a hell of a lot easier. Mono islands over there. Where Chief gets forced, pitching Snapcaster, which I am very happy to see. If Uro plus Caracas. I'm kind of surprised they didn't Caracas their own Uro right there. But Wasteland's a nice draw. Skirk beats. Linked Dust in response to the port. Makes sense. Tarfire. Somewhat unexciting draw. I'm like, okay. They don't have another forcible. They don't have another forcible. And our Mux is actually quite good. And we draw 4. Yeah, this is like an insane ringleader too. Also, I finally start clicking on my triggers correctly here, where you want the matron on the bottom because you ringleader first, because it has more goblins in your deck that way, and you have more information what you want a matron for. Skeptical about this swap between Trashmaster and Ringleader. Feels like just 2 Ringleader and 2 Mux is not enough. Really depends on the matchups you're thinking about. So I grab a War Chief there because I want burst damage if they manage to Wrath me. So they Assassin's Trophy me and drown. So I lose my Sling Gang and my Muxus. But top deck Cavern's kind of sick. So War Chief, Pile Driver, Basilic is lethal by a lot. So obviously they didn't draw any P-Fires, which is convenient. But they didn't really have a great time frame to cast P-Fire. So here I got a turn 2 squad, which is hilarious. Raucous Go, I thought about wastelanding them, but I felt like that was a bait, and it totally was because they have a Grove in their hand. Yeah, totally. Trashmaster's not great when you're behind, so. But I have double wasteland for both the Groves, so that's really nice. I'm just going to keep porting them. But Astrolabe, then that plan goes out the window. But just jam a Ringleader. I'm sorry, Matron for Ringleader. I mean, sometimes top decking Trashmaster is insane because it's a Lord and your opponent dies. Uro, bounce it with Karakas, which makes sense. But they are tapped out now, and I draw a third Wasteland. And Squad eats a Force, pitching a Snapcaster, which I'm happy about. I wasteland the Karakas because I don't want to deal with them just like bouncing Uro over and over again to just gain a ton of life and drawing cards. I'm surprised they didn't play Uro here. Maybe they're playing around Graveyard Hate. Maybe they just feel like they have to hold up interaction. I mean, they do have a P-Fire in their hand. So I decline to commit my Ringleader yet. I just play Lackey Pile Driver. So I know one of them is going to get P-Fire, but hopefully the other one will get through. Seems Triple Wasteland has done a number on them, though. Draw another Matron. Go for the Coatl. And I do have the Expert. Saving my Tarfire for Engineer, by the way. Drop my Ringleader. It's the most expensive card, and I want to draw multiple cards. Double Matron Sling. So I just so much value. Port the Badlands. They P-Fire again. So I'm assuming they drew the P-Fire off of the Coatl. Or they just got greedy. So that's the fourth Wasteland. Yeah, it is. Yeah, quad Wasteland's pretty good. I'm surprised they didn't play the Uro there, but I guess they're a little bit worried. Flash and Brazen Borrower seems like pretty weak. I definitely think that they should have just played Uro instead of holding up Borrower. And now I'm just not playing into a Wrath. I just want to force them to like deluge me. I have Engineer covered, I have Uro covered. So I blast the front half of Uro there because if they gain 3, then I can't kill them. So here, if I blast this Uro, they don't get the extra land drop, right? So if they just have the 5-color land open, then I could Tarfire them end step. They go to 4, and then they are forced to kill my Ringleader to not die, and then I can play Sling Gang. So their hand would need to be, they would need another force, basically. And then I can still play a game because I have 3 Matrons in my hand. Let's see what this was. This might be the Goblin's Mirror. Yeah. Goblin's Mirror is dumb. I don't want to talk about it. I won this one, but it's a game against Matt, so he's on Sylvan Plug. I usually always lose to Matt's decks because he plays like 1,000 Plague effects. But I'm on the play, and I've got a pretty reasonable hand. Vial into Wasteland, Creator Maker. Or Claimer's kind of spooky. Lackey's a good draw, though. And this sets me up for a really good sequence here. So Creator Maker, your Reclaimer. Wasteland, your Arbor. Connect, put on Muxus. And flip. 2 experts that don't do anything, but then Pashlek Ringleader is good enough, especially with the Sling Gang in my hand. So I keep this hand. I mean, it's not exciting, and I could get Wastelanded out, but I have Violent, a Tarfire, and some good cards, so. Library is kind of scary when I'm stuck on mana. Takes 8, and then plays a Plague Engineer off Ancient Tomb, so that's kind of an insane turn for him. Let's pass. Maybe I should have played my Creator Maker there. Nah, I like this better because now I can actually Matron on time. But yeah, then Pollucru Nose happens. Since I just missed my land drop and I cannot beat Sorcerer value with Library. Game over by a lot. MTG Noob, thanks for the follow. Game 3 here. I think I had to tank on this hand for a long time. This hand's really bad against a Wasteland. Sound worked, nice. It's really bad against a Wasteland, but Pyrokinesis is really good at clearing X4s, which his deck has a couple of. Port can mess up his colors. 2 good 2-drops, and Pashlek's nice follow-up, right? So what this hand doesn't lose to is Plague Engineer, which I think he's going to want to keep a hand based on. Draw Expert, not thrilling. I play the Creator Maker here because it'll deal more damage in the long run, right? If I play Creator Maker, attack for 2, whereas Pile Driver would be attacking for 1, attacking for 3. So it's the same amount of damage, but Creator Maker does more if he's removing something. That makes sense. Also, my E removal and the Pile Driver is more likely to deal more damage later. So he gets Reclaimer. I just take the opportunity to Expert here because I really want to get it off the table. I don't think my Expert's going to get a whole lot of other value. Okay, the Creator Maker. Now I just go for double Pile Driver. Just maximum pressure. And then he plagues me, which is fine. And it plays a Dryad Arbor, which is great for this Pyrokinesis. So it sucks to pitch the Pashlek, but now I'm hitting him for 6 a turn. And porting him. And I port green because his deck is primary green, and I just took out his Arbor as well. Matron's a sick draw. Grab a Ringleader. And he's just stuck. So Pyrokinesis was really good, and my hand really panned out, for sure. Not sure what this is. This was a combo deck. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is like the most insane oops variant I'd ever seen. And I was like, holy shit. If this deck is real, it's like gonna get banned, because so it plays Force. Discard. I want to show how ridiculous this game 3 was. Game 2, I got there with Lacking to Sling Gang plus Pithing Needle on Understanding Informer, so I'm guessing that's what they had in their hand. So I'm old this 7 because it doesn't have hate. I have, like, I cannot ask for really a much better hand than this, other than, like, my Break Trap. So I go turn 1 Ponder. Play my Cage. Then land, Petal, Dark Ritual, Echoing Truth, Spy. Like, come on. So their deck plays They can play Fatal Push, discard spells, Force of Will, Belcher. So they can just play every single form of protection and an alternative win condition. It's like that's ridiculous. A couple Delvar matches I wanted to go over. Beats Sylvia on Snoko. This was really fun. This was a really good one. So this is straight up old school Grixis control, like 2018 Grixis control. The only thing that's 2019 about is that it's Plague Engineer. I keep this hand on the draw thinking, if it's a creature deck, I'm probably pretty happy to have my Tarfire. Like if Death and Taxes, Top Deck Bios, like best draw possible. So this here has me thinking it's a combo deck of some variety. Most likely Doomsday from that setup. So I'm honestly, I was thinking like, oh, they're going to cast Limdul's Vault next turn. So they brainstorm. Angrath's Rampage, my Vial. Piledrive's a really nice draw here because I wanted to Wasteland them, but I also didn't want to expose. I also didn't want to take the turn off, basically. But now I can keep the tempo, high tempo plays. Muxus, which is nowhere near castable. They drown my Creator Maker, so my Piledriver's only hitting for 1, but it's not a huge deal. Grab Prospector because I have Muxus in my hand. It's mostly so that yeah, I get himmed and hits my Ringleader and my Prospector, which is like kind of a bummer, but it works out in my favor eventually, I think. Port's a really nice draw. I really want to take them off double black for more hymns, but also Liliana the Last Hope, which is a card I expect is in their deck. Plague me, which is fine. I just Starfire it. Draw a second Piledriver, which is excellent. I imagine they've multiple Drown the Locks or something like that, so I think the Pro Blue really comes through here. Also, they have Baleful Strixes in their deck, so. Mostly on Tarfire for Plague Engineer reasons, but D&T is also a big part of the consideration. So it's the second time in the past couple of matches we're just double Piledriver, hitting people for 6. It's been good. All right, so that game was nothing compared to this game 2. Like, truly. Like, this hand kind of looks like it does nothing, but it has a lot of mana, Answer Engineer, and a Pyroblast, which is quite good in the matchup because of Snapcaster and Jace primarily. So this fetch sequence I'm familiar with. I'm very much expecting to get K commanded on my next turn. Which like isn't the worst thing in the world. So I port end step, make them do it. Discard the second port. I really want to keep my Cavern. I play War Marshal. If they have Plague, it's a little annoying. But it's also not the end of the world. And it's the best value card regardless. Like if I play the Creator Maker and then it just gets bolted or whatever, I'm sad. Another Wasteland's quite nice because what you want to do against Grixis control most of the time is in the long run cut them off red. So I port in response to the brainstorm so they don't get a decision of whether or not they want to float blue or black. And they miss the land drop. Piledriver is a great draw, but I want to play around a Fatal Push here. So I end up just sandbagging the Piledriver. Also, I just want to be porting blue in case of Ponder. They brainstorm again. I was thinking about blasting this brainstorm. I end up not blasting it, but I want to think about it again. So they brainstormed last turn and missed a land drop, so they are brainstorm locked. And they brainstormed an upkeep, then drew a card. So that brainstorm, I think at the moment I thought it only saw one new card, but it actually sees two. So maybe it is better to blast that brainstorm. I might like. And the other reason is that just having a Pyroblast target that turn is nice because it means that I can, if I draw a fourth land, I can go Pile Driver plus Port. Carrot, Iron, Funderson, thanks to the follow. So they do find the fetch land. I draw another Reb. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to port them. They go push plus bolt. So I was trying to play around the push for as long as possible. Yeah, there are very few Goyfs these days. Brainstorm, definitely not blasting this one. I do blast the Strix because I have the second blast. And I just want to keep pressuring them, but this War Marshal forced them to deal with it. This token has hit them for a lot. That was a nice draw. Anything that lets me continue to port is good draw. I think I might port Underground Sea here. Yeah. So they had K command, so whatever. Just tapped them out instead of letting them have one mana open. Play a Crater Maker because in that squad, I'm like, okay, I really want to hit them for just once with this Crater Maker. And that's why I blast the Drown the Lock, but then they have a second removal spell. But it's not the end of the world. So I draw another land, so I'm hoping I can just honestly draw a fifth land in hardcast squad. Wouldn't be the worst. But Munitions Expert is actually like the best. Because they play Baleful Strix, I get to kill it for free. I start porting red here because I don't know if they actually have, I've wasted one Volcanic Island and a Badlands. I'm porting this one. They might not have a fourth red source in their deck. So end turn, flash an Expert, get my Prowl on. So this is their library. So relevant threats, there's 3 Plague Engineers, 2 Lilianas, another K command, 3 Snaps, 2 Gurmags. I have a Tarfire in hand. So I think there are only 2 real options here. I think it's between taking 3 Snapcasters or 3 Plague Engineers. If you take the 3 Snapcasters, then they're unlikely to be able to Snap K command you. I've used both my Blast, so I can't deal with Snapcaster with Blast anymore. No, I'm pretty sure that the only correct option. Okay, actually, maybe it's correct to take Badlands, Engineer. Because if I take the no, never mind. They've no, okay, it's definitely all 3 Engineers. Because ultimately, the only way I can lose will be Liliana Last Hope Ultimate or Gurmag Angler Beats if I take the Engineers. And it makes my Tarfire much worse. But, Tarfire can, just clear a snap to help me kill Planeswalker or something like that eventually. It still interacts with the board. And they're at 10, so. Yeah, so definitely looking at everything. If this was wastelanded, not ported, then I think it's reasonable to take Badlands and then 2 Engineers. Because you can beat the first Engineer, and then they can't flashback K command to get it back. They can Liliana it back, so it still might not be correct. So I take all the Engineers. Immobile. They have a bolt. It's fine. They have one card. I'm very, very slightly ahead here. They do have a Snapcaster K command. Oh, fuck. I wanted to go through that whole instance. So I forgot that was an important turn. So they go Snapcaster K command. What I do is they do it in combat. I port their red source before the block step because I want them to be forced to use the modes of shatter, shatter, shock, instead of just blocking with Snapcaster and then flashing back, rebuying Snapcaster and shattering Vial, right? So porting mid-combat forces them to cast the K command in that step, rather than after the Snapcaster is already dead. They ponder, and then they have a Snap K command, get back Snapcaster, get the Tarfire out of my hand. Pashlik's a reasonable draw. So that's 2 K commands down. The third Snapcaster, Snap Bolt. But, you know, it trades with the Snapcaster, so Strix comes down. And a Gurmag Angler. So this is where things start to look bad for me. I've gone to turn 14. I've yet to draw any matrons or ringleaders, so I'm really just... My deck is very live at this point. Double port. I'm taking him off double black so he can't cast Liliana because I really can't beat Liliana here. Crater Maker is nice in this instance. Block sack. They attacked me for 8, and instead I only took 1. They do draw the Liliana and have another black source, so... War Marshal buys me some time. And they have another Snapcaster, Snap Ponder. So they've used all 3 Snapcasters. Chainwhirler is the absolute perfect top deck here. Like they had a really good string of draws there with second Snap into Angler, or Strix plus Angler, and then Liliana. This Whirler is really, really good. Because kills this, and it forces them to spend a removal spell on my token to keep the Liliana alive. So they brainstorm, and then they spend their last lightning bolt to protect Liliana. And now they like don't want to attack, right? I think they're just trying to get the Liliana back up to 3, so then they can downtick and get back a Snapcaster. I could have held the land for Snap K command, or for the third K command, but since I can double port them off red, I'm not concerned about that anymore because they have no more red sources left in their deck. So I'm not worried about the old draw step K command. Matron is a really interesting draw here because they have 2 unknowns in their hand. And given that this is a Himdith Torak Thoughtseize deck, I'm willing to bet they have discard spells that they're not casting. And since they, you know, they might have Fatal Push, or Adrenaline the Lock, but I think I need to take the risk here and get something I can cast right now. And I think the best card I can cast right now is a Munitions Expert and kill Liliana. So Liliana rebuying Snapcaster is just disastrous for me. And if they do have push, they have to push the Expert, not the Chainwhirler. And so Liliana would still go to 1. And then I'm like kind of back to where I was. Another land, and now they really can't attack. I draw another land. Fetch to thin. Draw a relic, which is okay. You know, like getting these Snapcasters and the 2 snaps in the Strix out of the graveyard is nice. So I just pop the relic immediately, get my value, draw a Lackey, cast it. I draw another Liliana. And I draw a War Chief. So War Chief's interesting here. So in my draw step, I port Underground Sea because I don't think this land gets anything. So I double port, take him off mana, and then I can essentially choose to trade my board with, or trade 1 creature for their Liliana. So whether they block the War Chief or the Chain Whirler is kind of whatever. I get to hit them for 1 as well. Draw Lackey. Late lackeys before I draw any ringleaders. Kind of funny. But I'm assuming their hand has a bunch of discard spells. So I don't think ringleader actually matters all that much. Unless I can cast something in the same turn. I draw Expert. So I could just go for, Expert swing for lethal. But I think the slightly safer and better play is just to attack first. They're going to block the they're going to block the Chain Whirler. And then I let first strike damage happen. And then I Expert it. So there's no way they can not lose their Angler here. And I saw that since they don't have any engineers and they don't have any deluges, they can't really win from this spot. So yeah, this was a insane match. And I thought this game 3 was very nostalgic and like very, very back and forth. Like nobody snowballed a massive advantage. I didn't draw Muxus. They didn't draw a Plague Engineer. You know. This is Magic as it used to be. And it was really a lot of fun. Like there's a lot of like long-term plans, like me deliberately wastelanding red sources with my two wastelands, and then double porting the other 2, like mattering in the long run. I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, the match was great. I thought this against Rug Delver. I thought this was worth a look. Pretty sure this is Rug Delver. Like he gets forced. Pitch Delver. Play another Delver. I draw a second Wasteland, so I'm like definitely gonna just Wasteland them. Delver does not flip. Ponder. Draw another land. So I Wasteland them, and then I attack, and then they trade, which I did not expect, but I'm pretty happy with, I think. Given that my hand is all lands. Draw Cratermaker. Let's run that out. And they play Dreadhorde. So this kind of puts me in a really awkward spot where I kind of have to 2-for-1 myself, but I'm going to get 2-for-1 no matter what. And this is like a 2-for-1 that gives them the least amount of control. So trade my Expert and my Cratermaker for the Dreadhorde. And there's another Dreadhorde. So I try to do the same thing on this turn where I can attack, and then if they block, I just Cratermaker it. They do not take the baits, so I am forced to just Matron, and I Matron for Expert. Ponder, land, Trop, Brainstorm, Wasteland me, Ponder again, or Brainstorm again, rather. So their hand must not be great, is my read on that. So go for the Expert, pray for no Forcible, and they actually don't have it, which is really lucky. After cantripping all that time. Another Wasteland kind of sucks. Kind of surprised they don't Wasteland me there, but third Dreadhorde is very annoying. Also, the fact they didn't spend their Wasteland is annoying when I top deck Cavern. They're at 11, so they do feel pressured to block there. I maybe could have held the... I could have held the Cavern there. Because they didn't force the Expert last time. Or the Cratermaker. So I think I can read that they don't have... They don't have a force. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. There's Oko. So this is kind of explaining why they don't want to. They're not wastelanding me, is they can't really afford to because they wanted to play the Oko there. So now we enter the Oko sub game, and I have to decide of whether or not I'm going to play as if this game cares, as if Oko matters this game, or if it doesn't. So I end up hitting them for 1 and then just putting Oko to 5. Because what I don't want them to do is swap the food for my War Marshal, because that would actually be really annoying. Chain Lightning, make an elk, and wasteland me. So pretty bad turn for me. I think I'm paying Echo here. If I draw a Matron, I'm not going to cast it into Daze. Because they haven't had an opportunity to Daze this entire game, so they're very likely to have one, I think. So I'm stuck this elk here. Play Sylvan Library, which is kind of scary. Expert gets forced. Bummer, but you know. File doesn't really do anything. They keep making elks though. I'm kind of surprised they weren't gaining life. Because if they just gained a whole bunch of life, then it would be harder for me to win than through the elks. So this matron decision is really tough. And a matron for matron. So the ultimate way to win this game is to sling gang them out, right? They're at 6. They can gain 3 next turn to go to 9. I'm just trying to build up a bigger and bigger board state. And this makes it so that if they it's notable I have no more munitions experts, so I don't have a way to kill these elks. So I really do need to sling gang them out or go incredibly wide. So the mission for matron line is just to basically go wider. I'm not dying anytime soon. I have a million blockers and they have 1 Delver that's killing me. And if I really want to, I could matron for Crater Maker. I draw the sling gang. So that matron becomes even more interesting. So how do I make it so that they how do I play around a Daze and potentially a Wasteland is the question. And I could get Skirk there. I could get Skirk. Why didn't I get Skirk? Skirk pass. Getting Skirk does kind of tell them what's in my hand. Or makes them think I have a Muxus. They've used 2 forces. I find a wasteland, the 3rd wasteland. Yeah. So that really sucks. They elk my vial. Attack. But now I'm thinking, okay, well, then maybe this War Chief will eat a Daze. Which it does. I think it's a mistake. They should just elk the War Chief, but maybe they're afraid of... I mean, giving me 3/3s is, like, kind of scary, given how wide my board is. I trade off 3/3 for 3/3 because that's happening no matter what. The land. Another elk. And at this point, it's like, okay, do they have another force? Or do they have another Daze? Or do they have nothing? And I think on this turn, I just go for it because I don't think I can afford to play around things any longer. I also, wait, do I just have lethal? I'm 1 off. Actually, yeah, so they're not allowed. Yeah. I jammed because if they have force, then they go to 4 and they actually die to the board. So I'm only playing around a 2nd Daze, which would not be terribly unlikely. But the longer I give them, the more likely they're going to find things off the Sylvan Library. Also, a 4th Wasteland means I can never cast Sling Gang unless I draw Cavern. I've only drawn 1 Cavern this game, though. That's an interesting question. You jam here or not? I also am in danger of dying to Delver in the near future, being at 7. Like their hand could be 2 bolts, and then I die in the next turn. I get a bolt on top with the library. So, yeah, and they've only played 1 bolt, the Chain Lightning. So given the combination of bolt, I'm playing around a 3 of, and then they would need 2 of a 4 of to kill me. Another Wasteland, so that's 1. Any number of cantrips. How many cantrips have they used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 3 cantrips left. 4 cantrips left. So it's 1, 2 brainstorms. So 2 brainstorms left, and 2 ponders left. Maybe they're playing 2 preordains. Maybe 5 cantrips left. So I jam the Sling Gang here, and it actually does resolve. So that felt pretty crazy. Like it's turn 17, they have a 16 loyalty Oko. We still won. Just infinite 1/1 value. So on the draw here, this hand's great. I got Trop Go. And because of that, I go Cavern Lackey. So normally I'd go Mountain Lackey. And it might still be better. Might still be better to go Mountain Lackey. Because if it eats a Force, I'm fine with that. If it eats a Daze, I'm fine with that because I have the port to punish them for dazing. The reason that Trop, if this was Volcanic, I would 100% go Mountain Lackey. Because the fact that they let on Trop means that they can't go Bolt end of turn and then like Brainstorm Wasteland you, and you're massively behind. So this does force them to go end of turn Brainstorm, and then they have to fetch Chain Lightning, and it's like not the end of the world. I draw a Bolt, which is pretty good, and that's why I port Trop instead of Volcanic, because I can answer a Dread Horde. So Bolt resolves. Don't think I'm playing around Force Negation there because they can hardcast Force Negation if I let them untap. Plus, there's a chance they play like Hydroblast or something like that. So port green again. They play Wasteland. They don't Wasteland me, which is interesting. I have no way of stopping the Dread Horde here. So I think I just jam the Ringleader. Cast it while I can. Oh, that's right. They have Dismember. So I Ringleader to Muxus Sling Gang Matron. Muxus is very, very far away. So Wasteland my Cavern, Brainstorm. Draw another 4-drop, which is not ideal. Matron for Skirk, because I just gotta unlock my hand. My hand's really red source tight. Bolt my Matron, presumably because I saw I got Skirk. And they know about the Muxus, and here's the 3rd Dread Horde. Mountain's pretty important. So I play Sling Gang first, then Prospector. I should have done the... No, I want to do it this way, I think. Delver, they have 1 card. That tapping makes me think they have Chain Lightning in their hand. Cantrip a couple of times. I just don't block. I don't want to... So they thought they were thought through combat, so... I just need maximum board presence to the Oko, Chain Lightning, and the Prospector coming into play here. I get to kill the Dread Horde while tapped out, which is really, really good, because now I conveniently have 3 Goblins. I only have 4 red sources instead of 5, which sucks, because I would love to play Chain Ruler this turn. Absolutely love to. Again, don't want them to swap, so I hit the Oko down to 5. Delver flips on days. I want to keep my wasteland because now I know about days, so I want to play my Muxus surrounded days. Chump plus sack. Fine with me. Go to 10. Draw a land, or draw a lackey rather. So I have 7 mana. I know one of the cards is days, so I jam the Muxus here. And their hand was double days, which is kind of infuriating in the moment. I was like, are you goddamn kidding me? But they're out of cards. Hey, Len. So I hit them. They can't ultimate this turn. Unless they want to give me Elk. Which, you know, I would take. I go to 4. I wasteland right there to play around Hardcast Force. Hit them to 8. Lackey, upkeep, expert the Delver. Port them. Draw land, ponder. Elk. And this attack, I think, was just straight up wrong. I cantrip and then put themselves down on board. I guess they're trying to ponder into bolt, but I'm still not even dead to that. So pretty crazy match, honestly. So much going on. I think those are the most notable matches. I've lost to D&T a bunch, but I think all of my D&T losses were of my own doing. All right, so now we're going to start playing for a little bit. I've got 50 minutes. That was the weekend for me. It was good. I played with a whole bunch of friends. I didn't play any of the main events. I kind of wish I did, but also glad I didn't spend real money. And glad I, like, spent the time figuring out my list. So now I'm on 4-4-1s with something very close to this list. And this is my first league with the main deck Trashmaster, I believe. All right. Mulligan to 6. I will also mulligan to 6. I really hate these hands with goblins. Just gonna bottom the second war chief. These hands are always kind of traps. But you have a vial, so you can't mulligan it, but yeah, playing 10 rounds in a row is such a huge commitment. Exactly. All right, depths, huh? Lackey was a clutch fucking draw. All right. All right, let's go, Lackey. Maybe I'm supposed to get basic there in case it's lands. Oh, turbo depths. All right. If Spirit Guide. Of course they do. Top deck Caracas, please. Damn. All right, well, hit the nuts. Whatever. I'm not going to play around a turn 2 off a pedal and Caracas. I'm not going to play around pedal and Spirit Guide. It's like an absurd thing to do. All right. Nope, keep Crash Fest. Yeah, I just don't want to spend that much time. Sucks to play against Turbo Depths. This matchup's so bad. I don't even know if I really like Squad. I don't think I do, actually. It's a good beater, but it forces you to tap low if it's really clunky. All right. Doesn't pressure them anytime soon, but we have Vile, Double Wasteland, Needle. Thoughtseize. Yep. Gotta take the Needle, yeah. Tarfire. Tarfire's interesting. Okay, so here's a real choice. Sorry, Wasteland the Herborg. It's tempting. Why not? Because I only have so many Wastelands and I need to save them for combo pieces. Yeah, if they play Depths and play Hexmage, then I Tarfire the Hexmage and then they're stuck. Oh, don't they just second response? Well, I would oh, are you kidding me? All right. Double Needle. Straw Crater Maker. Lackey's really good. Yeah, the second response and then you Wasteland. Lackey was best draw. I need another discard spell. Even a blocker doesn't do it because we have Tarfire. I mean, hitting the Urborg definitely matters here. Oh, come on. They're at 15. Get in our extra 2. Sling Gang probably wins the game for us. All that. Crater Maker also wins the game. Probably can't beat a Wasteland from the spot. We draw a Matron. I guess I just Matron for Sling Gang and attack. Clamor's only a 1/2 right now, which is pretty nice. Never mind. Their mana is awful though. This Hex Mage and then like Spirit Guide, Crop Rot, or some bullshit like that. Forest. That's weird. I would think they would get swamp. Yeah, maybe misclick. They want Abrupt Decay mana? They could just get swamp still. I think I'll leave my Vial on 3. Good draw. Okay. They've used their Ghost Quarters. This Wasteland's really, really good. Zombie, thanks for the follow. Battle. Sure. Okay, War Chief. Okay. Weird. Um, yeah, they're so they have crop rotation. They're kind of screwed here though. Nice. Symbio, thanks for the follow. Okay. Got game 2. Now we hope and pray for the game 3. Find a Crocus early. Game 3 is really important. Kept 7. I don't want to sound weird, but I'll pay for you. Thank you, Soulson. And I think I have to keep this, but it's like spooky. No squad in this matchup. I think it's too clunky. Just gonna turn 1 me. Oh, turn 1 scrying. All right. I think if they get, I think it's stage. Interesting. Huh. Do I have the chance to play my Vial here? Or do I just Wasteland Go? Or do I just Wasteland Urborg? Getting stage says they already have depths. They have Hex Mage. Maybe I should just waste on the Urborg. Buys me a couple of turns, most likely. Used a Petal. Depths does not have the best mana. I'm going to try it. Not what I wanted to see. Yeah, Thoughtseize, sure. Their hand is probably stage depths. Unknowns. If they take not Vial here, if they have Pithing Needle. Take Matron. Interesting. Sling Gang's really good. Okay. Petal. Might be exactly a turn too slow here. I think I have to top deck Caracas now. Yeah. Well, I guess playing around the Wasteland killed me, or using the Wasteland killed me. I don't know, it felt like a pretty reasonable play in the moment. Alright, come on. Caracas. Damn it. Alright, maybe they block Pile Driver. Damn. It's close. I mean, I guess I should have just played my Vial. Just can't beat the fucking Lotus Petal. Exactly one turn late. But if I had played my Vial turn one, I draw Sling Gang, I draw Lackey, Thoughtseize my Matron, Wasteland Pass. Yeah, Wasteland Pass was reasonable. I don't know. I don't know. That was really close. I have to ask about that. I mean, it feels reasonable to take the chance that after spending a Petal and an Urborg, they don't have enough fast mana to kill you in time. I drew a port. I win. I don't know. So if I drew any of my 3 Wastelands, 2 Caracas, or 3 ports, I have 8 outs to win from there, or my Needle, 9. I have 2 draw steps at a 9 outer. It's a close call. Deaths is so hard to play against. It feels they abuse information asymmetry really, really hard. Like that deck is like the only deck that makes discard spells look good now because they can just play around so much or so little depending on how much of your hand they know. I don't know. Warborg Petal, Sylvan Scrying for stage. Hey, Alexander5, thanks for the follow. Andrew. On the draw here, not a fan of this hand. It's not terrible, but well, this is. I'm just gonna keep this and then die, I guess. But we have Cavern Port in this hand and a War Marshal, which is like our 2-drop on the draw kind of thing. Island Delver. Anything to do with this lackey, so I think I just let them daze it. No flip. Blue red Delver, huh? Dreadhorde, yay. Alright, I think we're just gonna get all of our red source. Hard to win against this curve on the draw. Obviously they can brainstorm for it. Sure. Looking to draw munitions expert, basically. Ponder. Shuffle, alright. Still favoring this matchup? Yeah. Alright, don't have it. Brainstorm in hand. That's a good draw. If I let them daze, don't have a land. I think let's do this. Porting doesn't really matter. They're just going to brainstorm and upkeep, so it makes the brainstorm marginally worse, but that's about it. I mean, turn 1 Delver, turn 2 naturally flip my Delver. Play Dreadhorde is as good as it gets for Blue Red Delver, but Ponder. No shuffle. Uh-oh. Sepharis, LOL, thanks for the follow. Honestly, I'm going to triple block the Dreadhorde. This is a situation where I miss Jump Palm, and I really wish this was a ringleader. Going to 8. Just gotta get expert. Yeah, jump home would be way better here, but so it goes. Yeah, as far as main deck changes, yep. Feels like I'm just getting Delvered out this game, you know, just I was at 11 instead of 8. I feel like I'd be in a much better spot, but pretty easy to get bolted out from here. So finally cast the Brainstorm. I mean, if they don't find another threat, and then we expert their Delver, and then port them, and then we can play Trashmaster, force him to bolt the Trashmaster, and for 4, we got a shot. Yeah, sucks. They have another Delver. Yeah. So now we need to also fade a Force of Will. Yep. Delver flips, I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, so punished for not having Jump Palm in the deck there. Definitely would have fetched Jump Palm with Matron. But this is the this is like the Jump Palm matchup, unfortunately. Another Dread Horde. Pyromancer. We draw Chain Whirler, we die. Just attack with 1. We need them to like never ever flip their Delver. Our fetch land is now turned off. I should have waited for the Delver trigger to resolve. And the Brainstorm, but they don't. Am I dead? Not dead. Alright. Mostly dead. They have Bolt and I am dead. Yep. Alright. Alright, well, we got soloed by a Delver. Happens. I mean, Dreadhorde did flashback 2 things, and that's a big part of it. Alright, well, that's fine. Have a lot of good cards for this matchup. I normally don't like shaving a land versus Delver, but we're going to 16 0 to 1 mana spells. So I think it's fine. It's like Karakas is pretty bad. Even messes up your sequencing, so you don't even want to play it a lot of the time. Like it's the last land you want to play. Because all of our cards are so red intensive in this matchup. I mean, if we draw a black source, this hand's pretty good. Not thrilled about this hand, though. Don't really want to mulligan too aggressively versus Delver, though. Really just wish this was a War Marshal. That's a good sign. Hi, freak. Bottom top. It's pretty good. Just gonna port here. Sure. It's kind of a not great brainstorm. Then we'll wasteland them and port them again, probably, unless they miss a land drop, in which case, or if they waste my port, then I'll just waste them back. Yep. Really need that black source. Pretty sure if we draw Cavernous, we win. This card. Champ. Yeah, opponent's nickname's pretty good. I force this. I was thinking about would I Pyroblast it? Discard Chain Lightning, blow Aether Vial. I would definitely blast a force there. Oh wow, it's Grixis Delver. Basic Island. Good to know. Yeah, Pyroblast that Delver. Never mind. Some purpose the chat overlays with the game UI. Does it? I was trying to fix that. No, it's stuck with truth. Do I own MTGO? No. I will blast a cantrip here. Ooh, wait, they're playing black. Maybe I should have held the Tarfire for engineer. No, I do not want them. Thank you. Sure. Oh, I think they're dead, actually. Yeah, they're dead. Okay. So if they force, then I can... Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay, Grixis Delver, huh? Could definitely be the older version. I don't think I want Relic still. Question is... I feel okay against Engineer. I've got 4 direct answers. Pile Driver gets better. I am on the draw, so Pile Driver's also, like, not great. It was pretty good that game. Clocked him. Pile Driver's very bad against Pyromancer. I'm just gonna keep it like this, and then hope. Oh, it's probably better than the Pyroblast, actually. I should side out the second blast. Sans gas, though. Hmm. Fetching out the island. Marshall. Okay, this is an interesting question. Is it Lackey or Vile? Hmm. Vile's better, of course. But I really need this Vile to resolve. So I'm inclined to play it around days. So if they're gonna daze me no matter what, I think I want to play the Lackey. And if they don't daze me, then there's a chance they just play a blocker. Okay, they didn't have anything. On Ponder. Need to see it. This means they have a removal spell. Or Dread Horde. I think that's good enough, and we get him with the Pyrokinesis. Oh, and we kill the Delver. And we have Blast to protect it. Okay. This turn's insane. Alright, Pyrokinesis, pitch. Peter. War Marshal. Wow, no force. Kill the Delver. Play Vile Wasteland them. That's a really good turn. Ponder, deal. So you have to find a bolt to stop Lackey from getting in. This file's ticking up. So we win the long game. Their plan is just a Delver as a blocker. We can Pyroblast it. That would force them to daze. They have Stifle. Okay, so they have Engineer, maybe. Wow, that was a heinously bad Ringleader. All right. We can still pressure through an Engineer. A 2-2 for a Striker. We bottomed a Pyroblast and 2 lands, that's right. I think Chalice is pretty bad right now. If Grixis Delver becomes popular, then I will snap back to Chalice. Chalice is really good against this deck. Okay, I'm gonna blast this. We have another Dread Horde. Let's get kind of dicey unless we draw Matron. Okay. Sangler? Wow. Ermag. Experts, game ending. Matron also does it. It's Matron for Muxus, unless they probably have to block the Chain Whirler. That's not a good draw. Bottom to 2 lands and I really want to attack, but they block the Chain Whirler. It's pretty bad for me. Get him for 4, 7. My Chain Whirler. Bad. It's easier to bluff having stuff with Lackey if you have more than one card in hand. Bolt? Nope. Wow. That Ringleader bricking. Just kill us. Alright, well, we can still draw Matron for Expert and be fine. One. This is Engineer, this is Bolt. I think I'm more scared of Bolts right now. I've already wasted 1 Volcanic. This means the Chain Whirler might get to eat the Dread Horde. They attack. Wow. Wow. Really is ancient Grixis Delver. That was pretty good. Still can't attack, right? This is really nice if they cast Engineer. I can just file in the Pashalik and kill the Engineer. Regret blasting that Brainstorm, I guess. Think about True Name in 2K20. No shuffle. Thoughtseize me. Hey, Bear. Game is so weird. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. They can't Fatal Push Chain Whirler. Well, I guess they could like waste themselves, but I guess for that reason I'll block. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Matron's still my best draw. I attack with everything. They block Pashlik. They take 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. They go to 2. I do eat it to an engineer though. That happens. Keep back the Pashlik. They just block the Chain Whirler. Take 5, go to 5. Land. You can start activating Pashlik next turn. They really not block double lackey here. They block one of the lackeys and they take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They go to 1. Hmm. Keep back Pashlik. It's my plague insurance. But if I put them to 5, Then next turn I can attack 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and activate. Probably good enough. All right. Oh my god, Honorok with the raid. I have to go off in 3 minutes. Appreciate it. We're battling. I think it's Grixis Delver, like it's bygone era. We also have a bolt and a Tarfire that kills them. That's a good sign. Here? Yeah. Played around it. Wait, this literally puts them dead, right? We just target them, put them to 3, and then sack ring leader. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just ping them. Appreciate all the love. Yeah, the plague literally gives us lethal because it converts the ringleader into a lightning bolt, which is kind of incredible. I could change their time because Moto's a quality program. Oh, man. Wow. Played around the engineer. Oh, we talked to ringleader. Sick. Not the game would go any longer. All right. I have to go. That was sick. So we lost against Turbo Depths, where I maybe made a questionable Wasteland choice, and we were also on the draw in game 1. We would have won the race on play. And then the other match that was before the stream was Miracles, I think. Yeah, Miracles with like Feldar Retreat. Thanks to the raid, Honorog. I gotta send you all over to someone else. Arcanist and Dredge. Orim, don't say that. Don't say that. You're not allowed to say that. But yeah, I'm gonna be back to doing regular content. I think I'm feeling a lot better about magic and life and everything. Callum, I want to take you up on that offer to play Grixis Control against Goblins. I'll cut the Muxuses, you cut the Plague Engineers, and we'll just play like actual fair magic. I guess I'll host Doomwake. Eternal Weekend, Hollowvine. Oh, fuck that deck. Alright, we're gonna host Footballs. Francisco. Alright. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I will be back another day. I just gotta go right now. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the followers. And catch you all next time.